Hello and welcome to this episode of Simply Saturday. My name is Julie and this is Stamp with Julie Baum. If you've been watching the last couple episodes, you have noticed that I've been using the With You in Mind stamp set and taken inspiration right from the January to April mini catalog. And so today I'm going to do my version of this third card. We're going to use this as inspiration and create our own. And it's been fun to take the ideas and then to turn them into something that is similar but kind of different. So today we'll be using the little leaf stamp and also the best wishes. Now I changed up the colors after looking at the inspirational card. And so I'm using greens because I like the greens with the leaf. That was my idea. So let me show you what pieces we're working with and then we will stamp our fast and easy card. So I'm going to do a card base made out of garden green cardstock, 5.5 inches by 8.5, and I've already scored and folded it down the center at 4.25 inches. And I'll just give that a little press with my bone folder. Then I have a basic white piece of cardstock that's 4 inches by 5.25 inches. Then I have my cardstock pieces for the card. This is what I'll be putting onto this white piece, completely covering it before it goes onto the card base. So with only having the picture of the card and not really any instruction to go with it, I did what I thought would work. And so I'm going to show you what I did. You might have other ideas of how to put this together, but this made sense to me. So I am starting with a piece of garden green cardstock, and I actually had already had some scraps that were sort of in a triangle. So that's what I started with. I wanted to give the middle of the card my initial shape. And so that's why I wanted to start with a triangle. So mine is about, I think it's about 5.5 inches long. Yeah, this is about 5.5 inches from here to here. And on the wide end of the triangle, it's about 4 inches. This is actually the biggest scrap out of the three. So you can kind of fiddle with it and see what is going to work best for you. I'm going to put my silicone mat on my workspace here because I might have a little bit of glue that seeps out, and that way it's going to go onto the silicone mat and not affect any of the rest of my surface. So to get started, we're just going to glue our cardstock on. And as I said, I'm going to start with my middle piece, which is garden green. I know that this very edge is not going to get glued down and this far edge, but most of this triangle is, so I might have to reach for a new glue because this one's really running out. Let me do that so we don't have to keep fiddling with that one. Let's see if this one has more in it. And this is going to be better. Okay, so I've got my glue on and I'm going to lay this down onto that white piece. I'm going to go ahead and pretty much put it in the center. Again, you can play with the placement of your pieces. All we're doing is creating a top layer that has our 3 colors of cardstock. All right, so I've got that one. Then I also have lemon lime twist and granny apple green. So you can see this one is going to fit here and completely cover the white cardstock. It needs to be a certain width, otherwise you won't have enough and you're going to end up with your cardstock showing. So that's going to work there. And then this piece I think is going to work down here. So we're just going to glue those into place before we do the next step. So you can use any colors of cardstock that you want. There's one caveat to that I will explain. And really any stamps too. I'm going to use that leaf stamp. Okay, so this was smart because you can see a little bit of glue is kind of oozing out. And then my last piece is going to go down here completely covering up this part of the white cardstock. Okay, so I mentioned that you can use any color of cardstock you want. The caveat is we're going to be using the Versamark ink, and we are getting a tone-on-tone look. In other words, when I stamp with my Versamark on the garden green, it's going to look like garden green ink on garden green paper. The Versamark does not show up as well on certain colors. So when I was fiddling with this, I did try it with some other colors, and I'll show you what happened with one of the colors. It just doesn't show up very well. But these three colors I trust are going to work well. All right, so we're gonna peel this off my silicone sheet. Some glue went on here. That's going to dry, and then I can just rub it off of there. And here now, I'm gonna cut off all of those edges. You can see that there's not that much waste, even with the large kind of triangle shapes that we started with. You need enough so that at the angle, it can cover your white piece. All right, I'm starting with really clean scissors. I cleaned them right before I started this video, because as you can see, as I'm going along, I'm gonna end up getting glue on them. So I will clean these again when I'm done, but you don't want to start with sticky scissors. All right, going around all four edges. And I'm trimming right up against my white cardstock. And we've got one more edge. This is kind of fun because you can see what cardstock you have perhaps a lot of and choose your color scheme from that. Okay, as I mentioned, some cardstock colors are going to show up better than others. This is one that I started fiddling with, and this is Lemon Lolly, and even though I stamped on it, you can just barely see it. So after I saw that, I decided to switch up my colors, and you can always just take a scrap of the color that you're considering and try it with your Versamark ink to see what it's going to look like. So you can see that that is going to look nice on the garden green. I had just added some ink to my Versamark, so it looks like I needed to walk my stamp around. There we go. Now I can be confident in what that's going to look like here. So now that's really the hardest part, because now all we're going to do is stamp in a random pattern all over this piece with our Versamark ink. And we want it to go across some of these barriers, not barriers, borders where the colors change. So that you get it bleeding onto from one onto the next. All right, this is really fun so far. It's just the one ink pad that's doing all the work. And yet, because of the different colors of cardstock, it's giving the illusion of multicolor. So I'm turning the stamp different directions. You could turn the paper or turn the stamp, but I wanted to have it quite varied as we're going along. In fact, I'm going to want to stamp off the edge here, so let me pull in a piece of scratch paper. So that I can stamp off the edge. Let's do off the edge over here. And over here. Just a couple more of these and we'll be done. All right, then you can just take a look and see if you need to add any place. This is always the dangerous part because once you start adding, then it seems like you need to add more and more. So sometimes stop when it's like enough is enough. I'm going to put one here and one over here, and then I'm going to stop. Okay, we're done with our Versamark, and look at, we've got that beautiful print now on our multicolored card front. All right, this is going to then go onto my card base. Now, I think what would also be pretty, but I'm not going to do it in this episode, is a layer of white behind it. You can see, I'll give you an idea. If I had a little layer of white before this piece, that would look very nice too. But I didn't plan it that way. I did this piece just the right size to fit on my card front, so we're just going to stay with that. I'm going to attach that with my liquid glue. And now I've got my card front all designed. Okay, all we're going to do is stamp a simple greeting. I am using Best Wishes. I'm going to do something with it that's a little bit fun. I want to split the best and the wishes onto two different pieces of paper. So what I'm going to do is show you one of the methods to do this, and that is using some little Post-it notes. So what I'm going to do is take a Post-it and cover wishes. Okay, it's really close to each other, so you don't have a lot of space to fiddle with. All right, now I've got my my Post-it note covering the word wishes. Now I can take, I'll start with Granny Apple Green. We'll see what this looks like. And ink up the word best. At that point, you need to remember to remove your little Post-it and then stamp on your cardstock. I don't know which size I'm going to use, so we'll stamp on here and then see what we want to do with that. Okay, so the goal is to not have any ink on the word wishes, which is what we ended up with. Perfect. Now I'm going to clean this stamp before doing the second part. That is critical. I have my little chamois here. So I'm cleaning off the Granny Apple Green ink. Then the next thing I'm going to do is get a new Post-it. Let's see if this small one will work, if it's large enough. Now I'm going to cover the word best. Yes, that will work. And I'll switch from my Granny Apple Green over to Garden Green. I guess to simplify, we could have used just one color, but I'm going to use the second color. And now ink up the word wishes, like so, and get rid of the Post-it. And this is going to get stamped on, I want it on the skinny one. Like so. It was stuck there to the glass. All right, so that's exactly what I was hoping for. So we were able to take the stamp that says Best Wishes and divide them by using that little Post-it note trick while we inked the stamp. Okay, I want to trim these down just a bit. I didn't start with any particular size. I just grabbed scraps right out of my scrap bin. So using my trimmer, I'm going to trim this one down. I think it would be really cute to use a punch on this too, but I'm trying to keep it super simple because after all, this is a Simply Saturday card. But you could take this idea, of course, and expand on it greatly. All right, so I'm trimming this down on both sides and also on the top and the bottom just a bit. And we'll see what that looks like. All right, I like it. I think we'll go with that. And now let's trim our wishes piece down. I might not need to do any trimming on all the sides. Let's see what happens once we get this taken care of. All right, it looks like I need a smidge off this side. Just a smidge. And now that I'm looking at it, I do think it needs a hair off of the bottom in order for it to look centered. So this is a little tricky because this is very small at this point. And that worked nicely. Okay, so we can take our pieces now and simply add them to the front of the card. Something like that. All right, let's do our multi-purpose liquid glue for a quick bit of gluing and attach it. And I'm going to line up this side and kind of keep it eyeballing with that edge so it's as straight as I can get it. And then this piece as well. Now you could put these on with dimensionals if you want to. And of course at this point you could also embellish it. I am not going to. This is truly a fast and easy card. And all I'm doing, this piece is a little bit shorter than this one. So I'm just centering it so that I've got it centered under that piece, like so. I'm gonna flip it over, press it down really good. And then let's take a peek at our finished card. What do you think? That might be a really new technique for you if you've never stamped with basically just Versamark ink to get your main print. And then of course we added a sentiment. All right, let me bring in the picture that was the inspiration. This one, I told you they used different colors and the stars. They used just the same color green here, and I just switched it up a little bit by using 2 colors of green. But there is our card with inspiration straight from the Stampin' Up catalog. Lots of fun. I look forward to spending time with you again next week at Simply Saturday. And until then, happy stamping.